I am not fully informed on what this particular bill entails in its entirety, but I heard an ad either on my radio station or on the television at some point, and they were like, hey, do you like your credit card points? You know, do you use them for travel? Do you use them for discounts? Do you use them for deals? Do you use them to pay for... Well, they want to take them away, and I was like, I was like, hold up, excuse me, say what? Excuse me, say what? And then I did a little research, and apparently there's a bill that is on the floor in Washington. It's called the Credit Card Competition Act. Research, and apparently there's a bill that is on the floor in Washington. It's called the Credit Card Competition Act. And it's aimed at, I guess, giving a little parity to the credit card industry as far as like transaction fees go and things like that. I don't know who that stands to benefit, if it's the retailers who obviously pay a fee in order to be able to use credit cards, which is a convenience to their consumer, their patrons. I know certain credit cards charge a higher transaction fee, American Express being one of those, which is why some places don't take American Express.
Yeah, it's come down. It's leveled out somewhat on the fee schedules, but yeah, there's a lot of mediators in the middle of it. You know, you're not contracting direct with American Express. Most of the, it's like Stripe takes all the cards. So Stripe's the middleman, and they take X amount per fee, and it's the same thing like with the Square.
Everybody's eating off of the transaction fees, and as consumers, this is one little silver lining to us spending our friggin' money, right? Is that we collect our points. If you use, American Advantage, you go on there, you pick your favorite retailer. Sometimes they give you 9 points on the dollar, like whatever. You can use it for an upgrade on a plane ticket. You can use it towards your hotel. American Express has forever been known for their great kind of membership rewards points. And now there's entire TikTok and Instagram accounts that are dedicated to teaching people the best cards to get, or to use for certain purchases in order to get the most points. And basically your credit card points pay for your lifestyle, your travel in particular. It amazes me that in 2023, with everything going on in the world and in our country in particular, that this is something that is on the legislative agenda, right? Snatching consumers' points away from them. And that I don't know how many people have heard about this. Again, it happened to have an ad running, and they were like, call your local, call your Congress people, tell them to vote no for this if you like your credit card points. But again, it's like we're so consumed and so distracted with other things. Like, this is something very real that will impact a lot of people. It's one of the reasons why, I love American Express, because obviously when you have it as an actual, oh my goodness, not a credit card, what are they? Charge card. Yeah, but there's a difference between a charge card and a credit
American
card.
Express is not a credit card.
You pay your bill off at the end of the month. Like, you're expected to. You have
They don't make interest on the money that you borrow. They only make their VIG on
the transaction on the fees. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, they obviously have revolving credit accounts now too. Like, they've expanded what they offer. But when American Express first came out, it was a charge card. You paid it in full at the end of every month.
Spent 30 grand, paid
you paid 30 grand. Their point system is fantastic. I'm going to Seattle in November, and hotel taken care of. You know what I mean? Again, I spent a lot of money to pay for my hotel room. But it blew my mind, because I was like, there's so many facets to this conversation. Again, what is going on in Washington, really? That we're not hearing about, that we're not privy to, that, again, could impact our daily life. We talk about it a lot on this podcast, how, so many people overlook local elections, the elections that really have to do with your everyday life. And then, we focus on Washington. But again, we focus on Washington for things like, the government shutdown and, what's going on in Ukraine. But again, they're making decisions up there, too, that have a very real impact on your day-to-day. Yeah. Taylor,
they're making a lot of decisions that have to do with our day-to-day that no one ever hears about also. You're lucky if you get to argue it a little bit.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is that, we don't really get the full rundown as to what's going on during any particular legislative session, right? You might watch it on C-SPAN, but at that point, it's already happening.
Yeah.
Like, they're out here voting, and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't even... What just happened, right? So we have these voices, but of course, the best way to mute the crowd is...
Throw them a bone.
Or to wait.
We're taking your points.
Or to not tell them, like, not keep them informed as to what's happening.
Or give them something to argue about while you're doing something else.
Is the fact that they usually try to slide it into other things,
Yes.
right? So apparently again, Credit Card Competition Act was initially carved into the National Defense Authorization Act. What?
Got to put it somewhere.
Do you know, like, that did not happen. Thank God. Like, okay, we're just going to sandwich the Credit Card Competition Act. I've been here with national defense. It is expected to be voted on this year, and we're getting information that different credit card companies are set to raise their transaction fees for online purchases because obviously, you know, the marketplace has changed. And it feels very, you know what it feels very similar to? It feels very similar to what we just saw happen in Hollywood, right, with the studios and their bargaining agreement coming up and the writers going on strike because obviously they were kind of taking advantage of this uncharted territory that had been streaming.
Nobody wants you using cash anymore. They're trying to eliminate cash.
Who is, though?
The government. They want to eliminate cash
Why?
because you can't track cash.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so have they always done that? I don't want to say always. I mean, I know credit cards really became more prominent in the 80s.
Discouraged it as much as they are. They literally don't want any more cash out there.
Not that I'm a big cash person, but after being around men like Lenny and Laz and just other individuals that I know that always had, and I'm not trying to put your business out there, but always had some sort of cash on them, just in an emergency. I remember I was in college and I had a roommate and her boyfriend got super mad. We had gone to Boston for like one of our long weekends or whatever. She flew home with me and we were flying on like non-rev passes. And we got stuck in an airport somewhere. We got bumped, and she didn't have any cash. And she's having this conversation. And he's like, "What the fuck do you mean you don't have any cash on you?" He was like, "You should always have somewhere between $250 and $500, no matter what. You should always have an emergency. You get a flat tire. You need a hotel room,
Especially if you're traveling.
You know." He was like, "You should always have something." And
Yes.
and it was funny because she was just like holding the phone away, like we're both listening to him just rant.
Concert you went to a couple of weeks ago at Bayside.
Yeah.
My daughter went, and I told her, said, I don't care how much it costs, park at the closest, best parking you can park. It was 3 girls going to there, and they're all young. Cost them $50. It's funny, though, because she's like, yeah, we were out in like 5 minutes. We were gone.
Yeah, you heard me talking
Yes,
about
I heard you talking
like,
about it.
but I would have taken
But
it anyway. Yeah.
she keeps cash on her for that.
Yep.
Because you're not swiping your card at the $50
No.
park right
First
here
of all,
in front.
He's probably not even legit. He's the homeless dude that's just going to keep an eye on your vehicle and make sure it doesn't get towed from wherever he just let you park. But I'm here for it. I get it.